I was just ignoring you.
Hey, here, guys. What's this say? I don't know. What's that say? I know, but I'm not gonna tell. I think it says it's good.
Conjecture Hoops contains all the presumptions, assumptions, and off-the-wall postulations a growing kid needs. Conjecture Hoops, a big bowl of bullshit. Saturday morning cartoons.
Now at night time.
Mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Please welcome Max Headshrew, Dell, Aria Blackness, and your most gracious host, Ben Motherfucking Jackson. Applause. Applause. Applause.
That now at night time sounds like you're coming in live saying it.
I do it every episode.
Single time he has to get the timing just right, turn his microphone on.
Pretty good.
Really good at it. Sounds the same every week.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got it down.
What's up, Big Buddha? What's up, Aria? What's up, Rob? Yo, Rob, I didn't see you come in.
Yo! Trying to figure out. There I am. Hello,
Roberto. How you doing, mate?
Alrighty, guys. How's it going?
It's going all right.
You snuck
You're
in during the theme song. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna get on the.
Right, the theme
Just
tune.
fine. You're welcome.
Sing the theme tune.
Are you a fan? Are
Surprise.
you a fan of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Rob?
Dude, I do like Alan Moore. I've got like four of his books, but I've never read Swamp Thing.
You're missing out.
Aria said this morning that you guys were doing it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read as much as I could. So,
look,
nice.
There's a lot to get through.
Yeah, there is a lot to get through.
I read from 20 until 27.
Oh wow,
That's what I managed to do.
You read more than me, Rob.
Bad, Rob. That's not bad. Those are key issues.
I think I read that, but I had a week.
Well, you finished the first volume of Swamp Thing, so well done. That's 20 to 27. That's a cool book.
Honestly, there's enough for us to talk about for an hour or two in just volume one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The only thing, not the only thing, but probably the biggest, important moment that's after this that you haven't gotten to that I'm going to spoil for you right now.
Spoilers!
Is when he and the girl become a couple, right? Like officially.
Yeah, baby.
Having plant sex. That's really interesting.
That's cool.
Ooh, a bit of stalking going on, is there?
Yeah, exactly.
Walking.
And it's really
Excellent.
interesting because I'm forgetting what issue it is. I think it's like 20 or 19 or something. But there's a part where he gives her one of those fucking fruits to eat, right?
Yeah.
The same one that
yeah.
would later be the way that he gives her the dick is in this fruit for her to eat, right?
That's very
Right.
biblical. Yeah.
You guys know how they have
fruit.
sex, right? You know how Swamp Thing has sex with his human girlfriend, right?
With
No, pray do
fruit.
tell.
Is it a banana?
He thinks he has erotic thoughts and makes a fruit grow. And then he gives it to her and she eats it and she orgasms from eating this fruit. Then that's how they have sex.
I've got a really, really obscure Swamp Thing comic in one of the long boxes in which Swamp Thing impregnates someone with himself. i.e. his baby is Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that's what I did with my wife. Have you not seen the baby? It's like a little bald thing. Looks exactly like me.
He's got the beard and the...
Got the same haircut.
That'll come eventually.
So
As he gets older, I'll just wither and die like an old gherkin.
Aria, that's an artificial intelligence spaceship that Swamp Thing impregnates.
That's
it's going. That's how he gets from one planet to another. He hitches a ride with his amorphous consciousness, right? His like astral projected consciousness hitches a ride on this fucking AI spaceship. Oh, I got a nice fucking bruise right there on this spaceship, and then he has sex with the spaceship and impregnates her with himself. So basically, tells the spaceship to build him a body, right?
Right.
So that's a post Alan Moore story.
Right.
I actually think
Yeah.
I think that's
Alan
the
Moore.
guy right after Alan Moore. I think. No,
Alan
that's
Yeah.
Moore, like totally changed what Swamp Thing was, right? He was more of a Hammer horror character before Alan Moore got his hands on him. Alan Moore like grounds him in reality, and then so the original sort of version of Swamp Thing was about like this guy that had become a monster and was consistently looking for a cure to become the man again. But Alan Moore sort of changed it as far as Swamp Thing isn't actually what's his name, Alec. He isn't
Alec Holland.
Alec Holland. He isn't actually Alec. Yeah, Alec falls into the swamp. Alec's dead. But the swamp sort of copies and assimilates his personality. So Swamp Thing.
He's a plant that thinks he's a human.
Yeah. So there is no cure.
He's a plant.
Right.
That is very Eastern.
That's a good way to put it, Buddha. Yeah.
There's very Eastern philosophical. There's this story about Mongzi, a Chinese philosopher, who dreams of being a butterfly, and when he awakes, he wonders to himself of whether he's actually dreaming of being a butterfly or whether he's a butterfly dreaming of being Mongzi.
Ooh. He's a bloke dreaming of being a butterfly. Because he woke up.
Yeah.
Right.
You would think.
Easy.
I'm being facetious.
But I mean, Alan Moore's a guy
Totally
that's read
different.
everything
Next
ever, so
question.
I could well believe he's read that story.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm sure.
I will use that.
No, but I think what you said a minute ago, Buddha, bears repeating, because like, and Rob like explained it really well as well. But I would just want to like phrase it that way again because it was, I think, very precisely put. He's not a man that thinks he's a plant. He's a plant that thinks he's a man because he's a plant that has adopted the consciousness and the memories of this Alec person, right? But it's Alec's dead. Yeah, that was a big mind blow for me the first time.
Does that make him a more or less interesting character?
More.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he has the human traits without being actually de facto human, right?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's much more interesting if he's not a human. Because then it's like, well, then what is this dude, right? Because then it gets into the whole concept of the green, right? And this is the same game that Animal Man writers have always used, right? Because Animal Man has the red, the green and the red, right? The macro organic life force that unites all animals and the one that unites all plants. And so if he's not a human, that means that he has this connection with all other plant life, right? And so he can access the web. Because that was like kind of that was the vehicle that Alan Moore ingeniously used to set up Woodrue as the kind of anti-Swamp Thing, right? You know, Spider-Man, Venom is to Spider-Man as Woodrue is to Swamp Thing kind of a thing, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I know exactly what you're saying. And if you had to, because I know you're a big fan of Animal Man, right? So Grant Morrison's Animal Man and Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, which one do you like the most, Ben?
Oh my God. I want to say Animal Man, but it might just be recency bias because like I only just read that for the first time recently and I had a great time with it. Because I fucking love Swamp Thing, dude. Like this was a big one for me. But no, I like Animal Man better.
When did you first read Alan Moore's run of
I was
Swamp Thing?
young. I was young the first time I read this, man. Because like Not that young, I guess. 19.
Because I guess you wouldn't have.
I think I was
1980.
19.
Oh, you were 19.
Yeah, I think I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So not that young, actually. Like it wasn't like in the first, it wasn't one of the first comic books I ever fucking laid eyes on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I got to it early because I read Sandman when I was in like my freshman year of college. I discovered the graphic novel section in the library, so I just went through Sandman because they had the entire collection.
That's the same way I discovered comics.
Yeah,
in the library in my local town.
Yeah, and then from Sandman I read Swamp Thing because my understanding was that Alan Moore had been the inspiration for Neil Gaiman to think outside the box and reimagining an established character. Because those are all my favorite fucking comic books. They really are.
Yeah.
Animal Man, Starman, Swamp Thing, Sandman. Fuck, dude. I think that's the best formula.
Would you say those were the introduction for you to more adult comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it was Sandman for me, definitely. It was Sandman and Watchmen, so a different Alan Moore title.
So, yeah.
I only read Swamp Thing probably 3 years ago, this initial run, because I was devouring everything of Alan Moore's at the time. I thought I best check out Swamp Thing.
How do you think Alan Moore changes as a writer? Because like Swamp Thing and Watchmen are very different kinds of storytelling, right?
What's the timeline on what he writes though? Because as I understand it, Swamp Man came before Watchmen, right?
Yeah, so just from the blurb on the back, he wrote Swamp Thing from 83 to 87. I think Watchmen is like slap bang in the middle of that, 85, 86.
Right. What?
So he would have been doing those
simultaneously.
Tangentially.
Wow.
But of course, I mean, Swamp Thing is his road into American comics. I think he was actually sought out by Len Wein himself and said, who was reading a lot of 2000 AD at the time, and V for Vendetta, because the Brits at the time were doing the more exciting things in the world of comics. So he actually sought out Alan Moore. So off the back of that, off the back of the success of Swamp Thing, he was able to say, okay, I've got this idea. It's a kind of an out of the box idea for a more realistic take on superheroes. Yeah, go ahead and do it. And he got the creative license to go and do what he wanted off the back of that. But it was thanks to Swamp Thing that and the success of that run that he was able to do that.
So because Swamp Thing was a success, they gave him permission to do his own project, whatever the fuck he wanted, and that was Watchmen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Look, I'm my own mouth.
I was looking at you doing that earlier, and I was thinking, how has this not happened before? You must have done that sometime.
I like Swamp Thing too. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Conjecture.
Yeah. Well, you're going to stay there now, will you? Get a very, very sore neck.
That's great.
Sorry.
I like it a lot.
Please carry on. Ari, we need you there.
Yeah. Proper pen.
I think you're just in the best position for everything.
The Sin Killer says, "Greetings, sinners."
Oh, cool. Sin Killer will be launching on the next weekend, I think.
I'm a sinner and a killer. No, I didn't eat my dinner. She took his log. Okay, cool.
I should have said cucumber because that was green.
His courgette.
Oh, courgette. Yeah, courgette's funny. A lot funnier.
But I guess I guess Watchmen was conceived along the same vine because wasn't the original plan to take what were those actual superheroes called? The Minutemen or something? Like the ironic thing about Watchmen is that the characters that Alan Moore created are more interesting and just a better gimmick and a better visual than the ones that
we had this conversation briefly
right?
before. Aren't the Minutemen the old Watchmen in Watchmen?
Yeah.
He created the Minutemen as well, didn't he?
I don't think he created them. Well, fuck,
They were possibly established characters that he, repurposed.
Maybe.
Well, that's what he had intended to do, but then he wasn't allowed to. So he had already made the story, right? He's gonna scrap.
Right.
I'll just make up my own character.
To my understanding, it was supposed to be the Justice League, or
Not
some variation of the Justice League at the very beginning, and then he had those characters taken away from him, and then
but they were characters that more precisely matched every Watchman, right? They weren't. It wasn't the Justice League, right? Like the girl. What's her name? Silver. Fucking what? What's the girl's name?
Yeah. Silk Spectre.
Silver Spectre. She wasn't modeled after Wonder Woman. You understand? She was modeled after a real superhero, but a lot closer to her, right?
Right. Oh, okay.
And the same with all of them.
Right.
And the funny thing is, Rorschach is this really unique, really interesting character and visually very appealing. You know what I mean? And he's modeled after just some fucking asshole with a hat, There's nothing interesting about him at all. I don't even remember. One of the least impressive superheroes I've ever fucking come across, right? And it's so funny. You're like, well, we need someone sort of like this, and they come up with 100 times better character. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I can interject at the mention of Rorschach, I read this yesterday that somebody said, when I was a kid at school, I thought Rorschach was my favorite character. It just sucked that his face showed a picture of my parents having sex.
Very good.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
I see a picture of his parents having sex as well.
Yeah, what do you think? I can see it.
There it is. Yeah.
That's not his parents having sex. That's Galaxius.
Show us one more time, Aria. Yeah, my parents having sex. You see him right there?
Dude, what position is that?
Right. So the Sin Killer has asked a question. He said, "Did you like the Watchmen movie? And if not, why?" And from that question, I'm assuming, Sin, that you liked it. Well, if that's true, I liked it as well, and Ben liked it.
But if you didn't like it, then I didn't like it either.
Yeah, but if you didn't like it, I hated it. No, I liked it. Not only did I like it, there are parts of that film that I prefer to the book, and one of those parts is the end. I think the end makes more sense than the Alan Moore book. Oh. Hot take, controversial opinion.
Wow.
I like the movie.
I don't give a fuck.
Now I'm intrigued because I can't remember the difference between the two.
So,
I've read the book, I've seen the film, and I'm like, what?
So Ozymandias, the big bad, orchestrates a pretend apocalypse for the world in order to bring the world together to unite against this outside threat, right? Because the whole book's sort of the pretext of the book is that we're on the verge of a nuclear war, right? And everybody's at each other's throats. Now, in the original comic, Alan Moore writes this outside threat as basically they create a giant squid, an alien from another dimension that he drops on the city. Really, it's just created biologically, and it's all a farce. But the media and the people that see it think that there's an alien that's going to attack the Earth. So they all come together. Now, in the film, what they do is they tie that threat to Dr. Manhattan, and he sort of changes. He manages to capture.
It's my favorite sequence of panels ever. It's just
that's
there's like 4 or 5 pages.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the destruction of New York.
Yeah, the big squid thing. Yeah,
Yes.
so in the film, Ozymandias sort of recreates an energy signature that's based on Dr. Manhattan's power, and then drops it on New York. So everyone thinks that Dr. Manhattan has attacked the city, and then because of that, he becomes the enemy and leaves the planet. Now, he leaves the planet in the other book, but the reason in the film is a lot more. Makes a lot more sense, you know. He's the only superhuman in existence, and now he's been demonized. And I found that it made, as much as I love the Alan Moore take, I just thought that was just a cleaner. It just made more sense to me.
It worked for a film. It works for as an adaptation. The ending works for the comic. The movie version ending works for the film.
It would have looked really weird dropping a squid in the
yeah.
Which, the nerd in me would love to have seen that, but I couldn't deny the fact that.
I can imagine if it was like a 1970s Doctor Who version.
Well, well, that's almost what it sort of looks
made
like.
out of bubble wrap.
It looks like the squid that lives inside a Dalek. Like, it does look that way.
Yeah, it does.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it could only have been designed by a Brit. That squid. I like the film, but I won't deny I do have some issues with it. I wish they'd have deviated a little more in a few places. It's funny how 90% of the film slavishly recreates the comic, almost to its own detriment. I think they could have.
That is a huge sphincter. Sorry,
it is. That's a big sphincter.
Yeah.
The Sin Killer agrees. He likes the end more. Nice one, sir. Hop on, mate.
It looks so much more appealing upside down as well.
Yeah, baby.
Carry on, Buddha.
That was my point. I think that there could have been more. It was the rest of the film sort of felt like a fan recreation rather than its own thing. And I think there were parts that were really good, and there were parts that just didn't capture the comics.
The first time I watched the movie, I was like, I disagreed with changing the ending because I thought that it wasn't convincing to me that the whole world would unite behind this farce and like that, and that they would stop fighting with each other because of it. I was like, no, that's not going to fucking happen. We're not going to psyop an alien invasion. It's going to unite.
But that's how the comic ends, doesn't it?
But that is going to happen in real life. And like now that I see like the steps going in that direction, you know, not to get into what's going on, but that's my interpretation of it. And so now
I'm kind of heading there now. Yeah,
this is actually really going to happen. So nice job, Alan Moore. You know what I mean? And
he has a very nihilistic take on everything. That's really the key to his writing and his whole outlook and philosophy. It's a nihilistic take. It's, you know, he believes that the universe is governed by anarchy and random chaos.
But you know something, I don't get a nihilist vibe out of Swamp Thing at all.
Really?
No, I mean,
the opposite. Because
that could be down to the fact that it's not his own creation.
Maybe.
Well, it could be down to the fact that it's earlier writing. Probably coming into more of his stride during Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
The nihilistic thing. That's another equal and opposite to Grant Morrison, right? Because he's the opposite of a nihilist. He's all about
creation. Spontaneous, unconscious
existentialist.
Creation. But
Haleside.
What about Halo Jones then? Like, would you say that?
What, from 2000 AD?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's another of Alan Moore's creations. And would you say that's I mean, that's nihilistic too, the whole idea that they're living on this hub, this hoop, and there's absolutely no hope for them?
I don't know, because I haven't read much Halo.
Sounds the way you said that.
What?
I am aware of the character.
I mean,
that was a beautiful book.
I'll have to
that was tailored more to the 2000 AD market. It's a very early story of his that was published in 2000 AD. And importantly, it was never finished. In fact, I think he only got about a third of the way through.
Yeah, 3 out of 10 books were finished. And later they said that they just wouldn't finish it, which is a huge, absolute huge loss.
But Neil Gaiman said that one night he got more stoned and got him to sit down and basically relate what would have been the whole story. He got him to go right to the very end. And he said it was such an honor because that was a personal thing for him to hear the whole Halo Jones saga and the whole story arc that we were denied.
Zaid, I Swamp Thing's one of my favorite looking characters ever, I think. I have done a Swamp Thing in the past, but I think I could do a much better job of it now. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've got more time these days, so let me dig into Roken for a little bit, and then I'll knock out some Swamp Thing.
Ben, write the Swampy character into Rokan for Max to illustrate. Doesn't have to be Swamp Thing. Call it Bulk Thing, something like that.
Yeah, Shit Thing.
Yeah, in the Rokan universe, there's a Swamp Thing made out of shit. So
yeah,
in German, the word for swamp is Sumpf. That would then translate as let me just draw something.
He's on fire.
I'll get my coat.
What if we call the character Something?
Yeah, even exactly.
What's poo in German?
Kack, Scheiß.
Kack.
Scheiße, is it?
Yeah, Scheiß. Yeah.
Scheiße.
Like Kack.
Scheißesumpf. Let's call him Scheißesumpf, and we can. Or would it be Zumpf? Oh no.
See
this panel of creatives getting ideas flowing. I love it.
So y'all can jump on if you want to jump on.
I think my Swamp Thing would have to have a lot of mushrooms on him, right?
Is there a story I'm going from memory here where somebody eats part of him?
He appears in Ben went through a scene where
there's one fun way to eat him.
Yeah, but I know in
I'm edging to a trip out scene.
Yeah, in Hellblazer, he Constantine gets him to grow weed, and they pick it, and they both sit down and smoke him. Which is
because I got high.
So there's another part. Don't they have to eat part of him to wake him up? After he finds out.
Isn't that
it works for me?
No, really.
Isn't that
after he finds out that he's not really Alec Holland, he gets depressed and goes into a self-induced coma, right?
Right.
And the only way that he wakes up is to save homegirl's life. What's her name? Abby.
Yeah. That bit where
she has to eat
Woodrow.
She eats him to wake him up. You know.
That was the other element that I quite liked. The development of Moores was the fact that he could let himself die and regrow himself in another part of the world.
Yeah, Abby eats sweet potatoes on his back to go on a sexual trip since they can't pay. Yeah, we actually went over that already. That was my go-to.
That sounds like a
South Park. Of the show. Minute
That
two
sounds
of
like
the
a
show, I
South
was already
Park
talking
chef
about
song. Come on and
orgasms
eat my
and
sweet
potatoes.
potatoes.
What'd you say,
Yeah,
Rob?
I say that sounds like a South Park chef song. Yeah, come on and eat my sweet potatoes.
that is the dialogue from the comic. And then he sings a song.
Hello, everybody. Have you seen my balls? They're big and salty and brown.
They're big and salty.
No, I'm struggling to. I need to finish both of them, but I'm struggling to decide which one I like out of Animal Man and Swamp Thing. They're two perfect examples of two sort of equally talented writers that are like the inverse of each other, and I love both sides of it a lot.
I on this one, I way prefer Animal Man to Swamp Thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
The story of Animal Man that we went over is very similar to She-Hulk, to the John Burns one of She-Hulk. And I think that's why I like it. And
does the John Burns She-Hulk break the fourth wall and meet her maker? And
and the whole
they do.
The whole there's like a whole scene.
Bro, we gotta do that fucking book.
My favorite scene in She-Hulk is where there's this bit where there's like 100 spaceships over the city, and in the margins of the panel, John Byrne is having a conversation with his inker, who is telling him never to draw another scene like this again because he doesn't want to ink another spaceship, and stuff like that. You know,
that's good.
No, I'm into it. Okay, who is this writer?
Who of She-Hulk? John Byrne. And Ben is googling John Byrne.
Read? Yeah, I'm into this. This artwork looks fucking cool too. Y'all want to read this for next week?
Sure.
Oh, if you want to do She-Hulk, I'm all over that. More green people.
Green women.
So,
have you tuned into the fan club? Have you tuned into the She-Hulk series, Aria?
I've tuned out. I don't want to watch that.
I've not seen any of it.
I'm gonna get angry. I know I'm gonna get angry, and it's gonna ruin my day. So I don't even want to start with the She-Hulk series. I've watched the trailer, and it infuriates me.
Is it gonna ruin your day more or less than fucking Obi-Wan?
I haven't. Here's the thing with Disney. I'm so done with it now. I don't want to touch anything Disney, any Star Wars or any Marvel.
Mate, I was saying to Ben on chat, like, you must have seen it because it was in the group chat, but Disney have managed to make me so ambivalent about Star Wars, which is a fucking massive task because I was a huge Star Wars fan for a while, that I just don't give a shit anymore. It just doesn't make me feel anything either way.
Like 5 years ago, I'd be crazy. If like 5 years ago you told me they're going to make a She-Hulk show, I'd be losing my mind. I wouldn't sleep until the show came on. But I just don't care now, and I don't want to watch it because I know I'll put it on and I'll be angry in the first 20 minutes, and it's just going to ruin it all for me. So,
well, I feel that way with everything at the moment. Everything that's coming up. People are asking me because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. Am I looking forward to the Lord of the Rings TV series? Not particularly. You know, I'll watch it if it's good.
Absolutely not.
Great. If it's not, I'll carry on with my life.
Yeah.
You know. Same with Game of Thrones. There's a Game of Thrones prequel. I couldn't really care either way. You know, if it's good, well, I'll carry on watching it. If it's
I wonder if it's like a symptom of just oversaturation of media, because there's so much. There's so much now. Like,
I feel like there's the definitive versions of everything already exists. You know, so why do we need anything new?
Yeah.
You know,
we don't.
80% of it will be shit, and you just gotta wait for the Mandalorians to come along and the good stuff.
I don't understand why, but there's not an appeal for something new and like a new mythology. Because like, think about it, Raised by Wolves, man. Like the way those necromancers like get into formation to fight, and the serpent that they came up with, like there was some really fucking cool iconography and like new characters. Like I wanted a fucking action figure of this mother bitch. Like that was some cool ass fucking like fight mechanics, right? And they cancel that because like people don't want something new, you know? Like that's the real problem here. I feel like you're looking at it backwards. It's like the problem is Joe Schmo next door who doesn't have enough imagination to put a new thing into it. You know?
Right.
I can imagine these conversations were coming out all the time. For example, before the Lord of the Rings films came out, from the true believers who only read the books. I mean, like before the films, you could only read the books apart from the one. There was one Lord of the Rings. Yeah, what was it? Like the animation. Yeah, it's like half live action, half animation. So, but apart from that, we were only the books. So I'm sure there were similar conversations going on back then. And then, how many people now would diss the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings? Not one, right?
I think so. I think it's the sort of different outlook now is that we've seen it done. We have seen it done right, like a bunch of times now. So we know that there's like a way of doing it. Like if you get a good writer on board and a decent director. So when you get things like Morbius coming out, that probably would have been popular in like 2001. But like by today's standards is just dog shit. Like it's you're more disappointed because you think that they should know, like they should know now how to approach these things, but they still commercialize, like over commercialize scripts that really can't be sort of flattened out for a younger audience. Like I had the Morbius comic when I was younger, the first one. It's very dark. I'd liken it to The Crow a bit, and the film. I don't know how you can read the original book and then go and then have that as the offshoot of the film. It's just bizarre, especially now.
Back in the early 2000s, every couple of years we'd get like a new X-Men movie, and it wouldn't be quite right, and you'd think, I really wish Wolverine would just put on the costume, and I wish there'd be this, and this from the comics. And now they do exactly that every couple months. And I really wish we could go back to the way it was, where
I'm telling you, mate, I preach this all the time. There's something to be said for any form of restraint from media, like because there's so much about, like it's just not as precious anymore. Like if every 5 days you were getting an X-Men movie from the noughties, you'd have probably more to say about it. But because, like you say, because there were so few and far between, you sort of fed on what you got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were like, well, this is the best I'm going to get. But so
you gave you time to acclimatize.
Yeah, right. And now it's just bang, 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 bang. There's just too much. Like you can't. I feel like I can't get to know and really love a piece of media like I did back in the day, because I've got all this other media to look at. I don't get to sit down and rewatch it and like have it become part of my personal sort of zeitgeist the way it would back in the day, because there's just too much.
Yeah,
it just becomes throwaway, you know.
We're a unique generation. We're the VCR generation. We are the generation that would have latched onto one particular thing or a few particular things and watched those things repeatedly. Right. Before that, there wasn't the option to do that. You had either television, which was all disposable, or there was movies, but you'd only see them once in the theatre and then they're gone. This generation doesn't have that because there's just an oversaturation of everything, you know. They'll watch something on the phone and then move on to the next thing, you know. As soon as they've watched it, it's gone. Yeah. Something else will come along into their lives. So we were at a unique point where the media that we consumed, we fell in love with it because of that over familiarity with you know, films and TV shows where you'd watch them over and over again.
Yeah, even
know every line.
Yeah, even bad films.
Yeah,
I because there was nothing else to sort of consume. Like I must have seen Spawn about 20 times because I was such a massive. Yeah, it's fucking awful. But in 1997 or 98 when it came out, I was such a big Spawn fan at the time, and I think I was in my first year of graphics college, so I was drawing that motherfucker like all the time. So when it came out, I was like, I was like lying to myself. And I remember having a conversation with you actually a few years later when we were both young lads, and you telling, I think I showed it you, and you text me, this is shit. I was like, I know, man, but like I know, but I've got to keep watching it because there are little embers of potential in there, and I have to wank to them and then get the
You need that, yeah.
Oh, the potential.
I just hope that at some point,
movie though.
The clown was really good. The clown's good.
Yeah,
I hope
that is
at
a good
some point Todd McFarlane tunes into this and hears you saying those immortalized words.
Thanks for dropping in, mate.
We'll see you on the bargain bin on Monday.
Woohoo! Yay!
Speaking of the bargain bin, do you guys remember the first time that Max and I went on the bargain bin? I think the first time I ever even met you, Rob. You asked us a bunch of questions, and like one of them was, what would be my superpower if I could have any superpower? Do you remember that? You don't remember?
Dude, okay.
Well, what I said...
Vaguely.
What I said was to have like constructs of my masturbatory fantasies. Because that's a canon superpower.
I'm going to say, make you big. I don't want to say that again, but...
You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember this from Swamp Thing?
He can make his wank fantasies appear.
Yes.
Is that where he's watching the blue girl dance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In his hand, he makes a fucking blue girl, and then he has sex with her. In his fucking mind. That's his superpower.
I wish I had that superpower.
Mind you, that was in the 80s, and that was before the advent of VR goggles.
Yeah, but if you can make it real,
that's what the best superpower ever, dude. And that's why that's why his wife leaves him for Swamp Thing.
Is she real then from then on? The blue girl? Does she exist in the real world?
No. It's like a Green Lantern. It's a construct, right? So like Green Lantern can fucking make shit appear. Well, imagine him Green Lantern make a girl appear and to jerk you off, dude. That's his super.
Right, yeah. So if he was the Green Lantern, his ring would be lust, right?
Right, exactly. It's like a lust.
Say that again, but slowly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I should do that. Just one that's just horny all the time.
Yeah, it's fucking mad cable, dude.
His ring's like a tiny little anus that goes around his finger.
It wouldn't be around his finger, I'll tell you.
It's a different kind of ring.
That's hilarious, dude.
Linguistic point. The Spanish word for ring is actually little anus, anillo.
Anillo, yeah.
The only way he can beat you is if he has to get turned on by you. Like, and then just like hits you with a giant red dildo or something. Sorry.
So they have to get the least sexy superhero to.
yeah. Sorry, lads.
Going back to bad films, though, I watched a bad film this week.
What did you watch?
I watched The Return of Swamp Thing from 1989.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Is that the Wes Craven one, or
no? The Wes Craven one is from 82, and that was like an attempt to make a legitimate horror movie. Right. The 1989 sequel, it has the same actor as Swamp Thing, but it's a comedy.
Right. It's more akin to sort of Toxic Crusader.
Yeah.
I have seen it. I think that's the only one I've seen.
Did you guys see the Swamp Thing movie?
Yeah, that's what he's on about. He's on about the sequel.
Oh, the sequel.
In the book.
I have seen the Swamp Thing movie. And I watched one episode of the latest TV version as well,
which ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. But
what year was that?
It didn't get very much notice. It was last year, I think.
Well, it got cancelled after the pilot.
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, they made 13 episodes, and the first one's pretty good.
It's a horror. It's basically a horror. It's very gory.
It's like
Quick
back
question.
to the old
Yes,
Swamp
yes.
Thing.
There's
like
corpses
Alan
with
Moore
plants
concept.
growing out of them.
Yeah,
really
quick
cool.
question. In the books, he's got like a lot of inner monologue going on, like narrating the whole story. Does that happen in the films, or is it just?
In Return of Swamp Thing,
It's just
yeah.
Actually, that's how I imagined it.
Return of Swamp Thing is basically just like Power
He's a
Rangers.
man, or am I a man who thinks he's a plant?
Yeah, just men in suits punching each other. That's all it really is.
It's got a cool opening.
The
It's
costume is really cool.
Born on the Bayou, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and the credits. I think it's pretty much all panels from this run.
Oh,
So,
really? I did not know that.
Well, it looks that way at least.
There he is.
I think that's cool. He looks great.
Yeah,
There's too much going on
he's
in his
giving
head.
the
He
thumbs
looks
up.
like he's wearing a seaweed wig.
Oh no, it's a bad hair day.
It's Terry Wogan if he
It
was
just
made
looks
out of
like several
cabbage.
pieces of plastic. Like,
can you bring up an image of the 2020 series?
Yeah.
It's not actually that far from that.
He's a difficult guy to not make look kooky in live action, for sure.
Yeah. Didn't Del Toro, he wanted to do the Dark Justice League?
Yes, he did.
Which would have had. So I mean, Del Toro's all about the rubber costumes, isn't he? So I mean, I guess, but he'd have done a really cool looking one, I think.
Yeah, he made Blade 2
CGI.
He made Blade 2 into a horror, didn't he?
Yeah. But that would have had the team up of Constantine and
did
Swamp
he do
Thing
the
in one movie.
Hellboy movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get him up, Barry. What does he look like?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I like that better.
That's
I
the
like
latest
that.
series, isn't it?
I like that one better.
Yeah, of
I
course.
don't know.
I think who that reminds me of.
There's not much in it. I just think the other dude's got too much shit going on the top of his head.
Is that
I mean, maybe the way to go in this day and age would be CGI, so you could see through him, or a combination of a rubber costume and CGI.
Right, there's some very limited characters that require CGI, and I think he's definitely one of them.
Yeah, to bring a plant to life, maybe the CGI route would be the way to go, but
his face
maybe it's too expensive.
I'm trying to realize. Think what is that? Is like a Remembrance Day poppy? It's a tranquilizer dart, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's just a one rose that's grown out of his nipple.
He's doing his.
He's in church.
You don't want to know what happens if you eat that rose.
Yeah, give it a go. Give it a crack. Give the series a go.
Yeah, it looks
Have
like
you-
fun. How
Yeah,
many
I
episodes
will.
was it?
I would definitely like to watch more. Just haven't got round to it.
That was interesting what you were saying, Rob, about the lot of exposition in Swamp Thing. Like when I was checking out the comics, I did sort of notice that, like, because it's Alan Moore and he likes his internal exposition. He likes it, his flowery sort of writing. Like spending time on a page on Swamp Thing is like a lot longer than you would say spend on I don't know, like on a page on The Walking Dead, where you're literally sort of flipping through the minimal dialogue pages. Ben seems to be you like those sorts of books with a lot of wordy books, don't you, mate?
I do.
And I think I do too.
And it was a struggle for me with the script to keep it down, because I was very mindful not to do that, because I know that could get me a reputation as being a tell and not show guy, and you definitely
right. And I think I might have echoed that advice to you, and now I'm starting to think that maybe I was wrong with this particular. We'll talk about it another time, but I actually think your sort of continuous exposition transferred over into a fantasy book. Assuming that you don't do on every project, I think that would work really well, actually.
There's telling, and then there's telling by not telling, by working around, by inferring, by giving extra information.
There's areas of detail of world building that you can do as well. And I think specifically when I was talking to Ben and going, oh, show, don't tell, that might have been me having a diet of sort of much more modern comics before looking back at the old stuff that I used to read. Because the dialogue isn't that heavy these days. And I'm, it's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, here's what I won't do, right? What I'm not going to do is just have it be like the way that I explain world building, like, I'm from planet Earth, right? And on my planet, human being, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We undo the zip at the front of our trousers before.
Yeah, I don't suppose.
Exactly.
I'm not really.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I won't do that. But what I will do is have like more authentic, like inner monologue of what the person would actually be thinking, and you can spill a lot of world building into that if you do it sparsely,
Yeah, and there's an element of narration to Rokon as well that you can inject that into.
Right.
No, it just got me thinking about it on Alan Moore's thing.
Because like with Rokon, what I really want, like when I'll be happy, is when someone who has read the novel then reads the comic book and is like reminded of that whole descriptive journey that they went on in the novel, because they're like, oh yeah, dude. Because like imagine if you read like a graphic novel of the Lord of the Rings, and like there were some pages where there was just really familiar words from reading it, and you're like, oh yeah, dude, I remember fucking reading that novel. There was so much more detail in the novel. When someone has that experience, that's when I'll know that I fucking made it.
Well, where is the novel, Ben?
It's right here, saved on my fucking laptop.
So put it out there, dude.
I know, I'm scared to, but it's ready. I mean, the fucking book's done. It's complete,
Do it. Put it on Amazon.
What's that, Buddha?
Self-publish. You're going to put it on Amazon. Self-publish.
No, I don't want to do that, because then you don't get any of the money for it. Everyone who I shit on Amazon is like, don't buy it from Amazon, buy it from me.
But you need people to read it, first and foremost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can talk about this later, but basically I'm stuck between pitching it to like big name fucking publishers or just going independent with it and just seeing what I can create from the grass up. But I don't know which way is the way to go.
There are a lot of publishing places, like, for example, Clark's World. Have you heard of Clark's World?
No.
What? Okay, listen. Rokon is science fiction, right? Science fiction, fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy. It's high fantasy.
There are a whole load of different websites that publish like online every month. They pay, like a word rate of so much. But for example, Clark's World. It's Neil Clark. Is it Neil Clark? I think it's Neil Clark. I've pitched a couple of stories, haven't got anywhere with it yet. But listen, what I do know is that they don't just do the, like the website with, they'll publish a short story, or they'll publish about 6 or 7 short stories every month. They have actually started branching out into publishing full-length novels. So I think it's probably a good idea to start, asking around these different places, such as Clark's World. I've got a whole list of such websites that I can pass on to you.
Yeah, mate. I'll get you my email address in some direct message or something, and then
alrighty,
we'll chat. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. You could also go the Amazon way, the KDP way, and have an Indiegogo launch to kind of guarantee yourself that first number of sales.
You think people would Indiegogo pre-buy the Rokon novel?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a pretty good following, right? Why don't you?
That's all due to the artwork.
Yeah, but launch a poll on Twitter and see what the response is.
That's a good idea.
I know, I'm fucking full of them, mate.
Like, would you buy a Rokon novel?
This is why the bargain bin keep me around.
Right?
Well, it was not for technological.
Yeah, mate,
capability.
you're in your keep for sure. What'd you say, Arya?
Yeah, that's why we keep Rob around for his good ideas. It's certainly not
Good
for
ideas,
his.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a poll on Twitter. Okay.
Dude, you could dance around that pole.
Yeah.
We'd like to see that.
Speak to yourself, Rob.
Okay, put it out on Twitter. Who would like to see Ben pole dancing?
Me.
Yeah, it's 2 already.
Okay, 1 out of 5's not bad.
You didn't even agree to your own poll.
So did you guys think it was interesting in Swamp Thing when he has that showdown with the other plant guy with Woodrue? And did you think that it was like the way he handled that was related to his like awakening to the knowledge that he's not really Alec Holland and like assimilating the reality of
over very quickly
of his being a plant? What was that, Rob?
Wasn't it flashbang and over very quickly? Because, you know, like Woodrow's got the whole plant world on his side. And then all of a sudden, Swamp Thing's like, well, you know, if you kill all the humans, you don't get any carbon dioxide. And now all the plants are like, yeah, well, we're not interested in that, are we?
Oh, shit. So that felt anticlimactic for you?
Yeah, totally. It was like very, very like I mean, like it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Kill all living, kill all, like oxygen breathers. You get no carbon dioxide, sure, but no.
I get where you're coming from, Rob.
It was wrapped up very quickly in like 1-2 pages.
To
Boom,
me, that felt like the kill shot. That was like the kill blow. That was like the submission, Like,
okay.
I got you, Woodrow. Like, checkmate, bitch.
At what point does that fight make him become aware of not being Alec?
No, that's not. It's a little bit different than that.
Okay.
It was Woodrow's fault that he found out.
Because he left a report on what was his name?
So he's like unfairly taking it out on him.
Right. Yeah, he was pissed off that he'd back out.
Yeah, and he was pissed.
He left the report open on Sunderland's desk for Swamp Thing to read, which is interesting because Swamp Thing is not actually Alec Holland, but he can still read, which is not bad for plants.
Yeah, but he
has all those Alec Holland knowledge.
Yeah.
Like everything that Alec Holland knew.
But how would plant formed eyes? Because remember this as well, that when they were doing the anatomy, like the lungs didn't work, the heart didn't work, the kidney didn't work, but hey, you can freaking read.
Yeah, that's the thing that's never explained. Where do the eyeballs
Postscript with apologies to Alan Moore.
Stop picking up on obvious holes in Alan Moore's writing, you bastard.
Why is he super strong when he's just vines?
He's right.
I'm just wondering if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Alan Moore has blocked you.
No, I'll do like the mafia and I'll leave Alan Moore's head in your bed.
That's a lot of hair.
Yeah, it's probably antithetical to my fandom for Alan Moore, but fuck it. You need the message.
So here's Swamp Thing finding out that he doesn't exist.
Do a big one. Make the screen big.
Make him big.
So I can see. Yeah.
Right here.
See, it's another example of like the old school coloring, and I really like it.
There is no Swamp Thing, right? What's underneath the suit? He puts on the swamp. He's Alec Holland, and he puts on the Swamp Thing suit, and then he takes off the Swamp Thing suit, and there's nothing there.
Right.
That's like the coolest sequence of panels in the book.
Well, that's empty. Me getting ready for bed every night.
You just non-existent. You just absent.
Just a sack of Rob skin lands on the pillow.
Rob,
Can we stop talking about my sack on the internet,
Sorry.
please? Cheers. Thank you very much.
So Arya, you said you liked Animal Man more because it felt more like She-Hulk because of the fourth wall
well,
break?
it's not. Yeah, it's not just that. It's just the style of story. Like Swamp Thing is a very heady book. Like you've got to spend a lot of time thinking. There's whereas I don't know. I guess the other one is like, oh, this is a cool idea. Then there's an action scene, something like that, you know?
Yeah, you find it easier reading, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not just that. It's just
I think Animal Man's more interesting to follow because he's flawed. You know what I mean? Like I don't identify with Animal Man at all. Like Animal Man's like my liberal fucking vegan neighbor, and I'm like, bro, just give me an hour of your time and let me fucking correct some of these mistakes you're making. But like that makes it so interesting because he fucks up his relationship with his wife, with his son. But whereas Swamp Thing is just like perfect. You know what I mean? He's like the perfect boyfriend. You know, he helps everybody out. Like, you know what I mean? He does what he's supposed to. He's always the guy coming in, like almost elevating and being like, okay, what's going on here, children? Let me fix
He
this.
is a grumpy bitch, though, isn't he?
Huh?
Swamp Thing's a grumpy bastard.
Yeah, he is, huh?
I like that, though.
There is bits of the story where he's
like,
pretty
that's
much
like Spawn.
just Frankenstein's monster, like in Anatomy Lesson, where he, you know, he's just coming after the guy at the end, and he's just a scary presence, and that isn't as interesting to me as Animal Man was. So.
Okay, no, that makes sense. You
No,
want to see more of him.
I also prefer Animal Man. So
yeah, I think I enjoy Animal Man more. I think I said it in the Animal Man show. I think Grant Morrison is a better writer of established characters, whereas Alan Moore's work, I prefer the concepts that he's originated himself.
So what are your favorite Alan Moore books?
Oh well, Watchmen would be the top one. I like V for Vendetta. I like From Hell. Has anyone read Lost Girls?
Is it a sequel to Lost Boys?
No, like when all of the
Zayd says, I think.
Like,
It's a self-proclaimed work of pornography, but it's the best written pornography in the world.
I think you'd have more traction if the novel was an add-on to the next comic.
What do you think?
That is another route, but
that's a good idea because
sure.
Would you be more interested in continuing to read the comic book if you knew the story already, or less?
That's a tricky question. I think if people are looking for the story and the art, then yes. But why not?
I mean, it worked for Game of Thrones, didn't it? Not saying that we're Game of Thrones, but
you'd have to get Max to do a cover for the novel. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, because then you'd have two factions of fandom. You'd have the comic book only readers, and then you'd have the true believers, right?
Mind you, you would only have those true believers if you gave it out as an add-on to a comic campaign.
Yeah, no,
because they wouldn't support you unless for the fact that they wanted the comic as well.
If they're a fan, they're going to want to seek out it in a different format.
Absolutely, yeah.
If they're not a fan, they won't do that.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. You got like The Walking Dead, which has gone on for years and years and years, and people knew what was coming up in the series because they'd read the comics, but people still wanted to read the comics and still wanted to watch the TV series. No?
For sure. Yeah, no one was saying I don't want to see the TV series because I've read the comics.
Yeah,
quite the opposite.
So what you're saying is we need to make a TV series.
Yeah,
that's going to be an add-on.
Rokan, and I'm going to be Rokan's dad.
Papa Rokan.
I'll grow these.
Well, that's if you do it properly.
Yeah. The reason I started sharing this is we were talking about, the existence and all existential questions that Alan Moore poses, and this came up immediately in my mind. And like reading through the whole lot this today, I went through like 9 pages of a Word document, just like snipping different bits, thinking, God, that's excellent. And this is excellent because it talks about Abby's, it is Abby, isn't it? Abby's husband, who isn't, I don't know, am I allowed to give spoilers? Abby's husband, who isn't her husband. He's like some demon who's adopted his form. And the parallelism that's here, Swamp Thing has found this bird, and he can see it's like terribly injured and it's in sharp grass. And he picks it up and finds out that the bird isn't alive. It's just like full of bugs that are like animating the bird.
Right.
And then it's
exactly like a metaphor for Matt Cable.
Absolutely, for what's going on with Abby's husband. What is Abby's husband's name?
Matt Cable.
Matt. Yeah, there you go, Matt. Yeah. And I read that and I thought, whoa, that is excellent. I love that.
You like that shit, do you?
I totally do. Can we talk about the art for a bit?
Yeah. I love the art. Who's the artist?
Hold
Stephen
on.
Bissett.
There are two. There's a penciler. There's the inker. One thing I know that
John Fossil.
What I love in the early issues are these, like, what are they? These there's so much decoration. Yeah, like what the hell?
Symmetry. The symmetry and the frames around pages.
Yeah, I mean, they knocked that on the head after a while, because I guess they must have been thinking, well, it's not adding too much to the story, but it is beautiful to look at.
But it adds to the experience of reading.
It totally does.
That's something that we could do pretty easily, actually.
Well, you've already written a page that sort of does that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. Do you remember me gushing over it?
I hope you're meaning emotionally gushing.
Both. First, I masturbated, and then I took a photo of it and sent it to Ben. He sent me a message back going, "What the hell is this? Don't ever send me stuff back like that again."
That's my
sorry,
gush.
I just really like your writing.
Sorry, I just really like your writing.
To be honest, we almost didn't carry on doing the book after that. He was pretty angry.
What I love from, I don't know if it's Bissett or the other guy, because it comes down to the penciler or the inker, I don't know, but this whole, every once in a while you'll see these lines that are just like what is that? It's like etching, as it would have been done like 100 years ago.
Right.
Like a copper plates etching.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that. Wow.
It's really, really a thin pen, and it's like just hardcore cross hatching. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's not a lot of other people who do it like that.
No,
it's you see it a lot in older comics, funnily enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be so damn time consuming. I mean, check out the eagle. Back to the decoration.
Yeah.
Whoa.
One of them's
it gives an energy to everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like that as well. Damn, this is good. I'm glad. You know, I came on today mainly. Do you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, sure.
I went for I went to work as an extra on a Netflix show near Holland, near the border of Holland yesterday.
Fantastic.
And I turned up there, had a COVID test. I'm COVID positive right now, although I am totally I am there. Everybody come. I am totally asymptomatic, but Lily, my wife, she had a test yesterday, negative. So I'm in my office. I'm in my office for the next 7 days.
Yeah, I was just saying before we came on, like me and my family we've all just had it.
Damn.
Pain in the ass.
So I'm really glad I'd never read Swamp Thing. I mean, no, I think I've caught the odd issue, but like that was like 20, 30 years ago. So I'm really glad you chose this for this week because A, I got time today. I'm not doing much else. B, this is excellent. It's given me a great reason to read this. And
did you read this just to come on the show?
Yeah, huh? I got
you,
time.
We're making a difference, man. We're making people read comic books.
Rob's a legend. Yeah. Hey, listen. I want to do next week. Can I pick the book for next week? We'll still do the ones that we've planned, but I want to pick one. I want to do Lobo.
Oh, good pick.
Specifically,
I'll do Lobo the week that Phil says he can come on that day.
Okay.
Don't you want to have Phil on the Lobo show?
Yeah, that's cool.
So we'll talk to him about it.
Simon Bisley's Lobo.
Yeah, for sure with the Simon Bisley.
Let me just get the name of the book. What's the name of the book? It is. I think it's Tales of a Pastiche. Portrait of a Pastiche.
Language.
But it's an easy read and it's one book. And you'll get through it like that. But the book is crazy.
Let's do Lobo.
Yeah, cool. Let's do Lobo. We'll talk to Phil about it. But probably we'll do that next week. And then after that, we could do She-Hulk. Yeah, and then definitely. at some point, we should do Watchmen.
Yeah,
and we should do Sandman.
Yeah, I'd be up for Sandman, definitely.
Yeah, I knew you would be.
That's a huge undertaking for Sandman, though, right? I've only read it.
It is, yeah.
I've only read it in German, and I got to be honest, I didn't get that much of. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I guess I really have to read the English version. Okay. But I read it in a local library because they've got so many editions.
Just the first volume. Just the first volume, Rob, because that'll match with the the first season of a Netflix show. Right?
There's a show.
Yeah.
There's going to be.
Yeah, very soon.
So we would discuss just the part that was covered in the first season.
Okay, nice.
When is that show on?
I don't know. Do you want me to have a look?
It feels like it's going to be on any day now for about 6 months now. I've just been seeing teaser trailers, and
they've only just released the trailer, right?
Yeah, but it's like that with
there was a trailer about 6 months ago, I'm sure. Really? Yeah,
it was like that about the three-body problem.
So we got time, yeah.
It was like that with the three-body problem. They were like, "Oh, there's going to be a film. There's going to be a film," and that stretched out for 3 years or something.
Mate, but August is in 2 months. That's not a long time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, if you start reading Sandman now, you might just get to the end of it by August.
I got to mention these as well. The way they work the titles into the picture. Have you heard of Chris? Have you heard of Chris Ware?
Chris Ware.
Yes,
American artist.
Jimmy Carragher.
I have not. Is this something that is his MO that he does this a lot? Then?
Yeah. I mean, I even meant.
Oh, is that Chris Ware?
No, it's not. But I'm just thinking, as soon as I saw all that, that's what it brought to me.
It reminds him of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It being more dynamic with the ideas in the art is always a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's often overlooked, and I count myself in that as an artist when you're doing comic book pages, that you don't break the fourth wall with the art as much to sort of build a world on top of the world that you're trying to portray in the book, and just to add to the reading experience itself. So it makes all the artwork seem aware of itself when you jazz the pages up like that. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, this has been a treat. Watching reading this.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's what I. Did you notice that?
What's that?
CG helicopter.
No, the leaves.
That's Ethan Van Sciver pilot in that shooting.
Oh, but there's leaves coming off of the helicopter.
Yeah.
Ah.
Eat shoots and leaves.
Hey! And on that,
yes.
Yeah, one thing we haven't mentioned is the Alan Moore run introduced John Constantine as a character.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
There's Constantine crossovers. There's Etrigan crossovers. There's even Batman crossovers.
Yeah.
We should do.
Based on
I'll put Constantine on the list as well because
for sure.
I think Steve Bissett was a big police fan, so he based the look on Sting.
I was going to say that looks like Sting.
Yeah. what I love about because I sort of concentrated on the Constantine stories for this was Alan Moore didn't write the Hellblazer spin-off. I can't remember the name of the writer that took over from him. So the only time you get Alan Moore putting words into John Constantine's mouth are within these issues, you know. So they're to be held for that reason alone.
It's the only representation of the character by the creator of the character.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's These are the only Hellblazer Alan Moore pen stories, essentially.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I think it's really, really cool on that front. But I can't. I mean, if they'd have done this as a movie in the 80s, they would have definitely cast Sting in the role. And you can read this dialogue, and I just hear it in Sting's voice. You know,
I wish they should have just cast Sting all along instead of Keanu Reeves.
I mean, before he was in the Marvel films, I always thought Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Wasn't Sting in the original Dune film?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's possibly why they didn't choose him then.
I mean, all he does is stand there with his nipples
performance.
Well, it didn't really do well at the box office, did it?
No.
That's not fair.
I mean, they can't pin that on Sting, right?
I'm sure
he has been in other things.
I'm sure that Sting was just following direction.
Yeah, he was in Lock, Stock, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the characters' dads.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And I've seen
I think
he plays the guy's dad.
When was the Keanu Reeves film? 2004, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd have been a little too. It might have worked, but he's maybe a little too long in the tooth. But I don't know. I mean, he obviously, given the choice with Sting and Keanu Reeves, they were always going to go with Keanu Reeves.
Have you seen the guy that's playing the new Constantine?
What is it? Is it a black girl lesbian?
It's a black guy.
Black lesbian in a wheelchair.
It's just a black dude.
Okay, well that's.
I'm sure he's not very happy with that description.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen it before. What do you mean? He's a black dude.
Black guy.
He's a dude that is black. Yeah, apparently he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
It's like I say all along, you don't have to be slavish to the source material. As long as you get the energy right.
They got the blonde-haired guy for the series, and I actually thought Keanu Reeves was better.
Yeah, they based him entirely on the fact that he looked right.
Right.
Going against what I was saying about the casting of Sting.
Right, yeah.
He just, he didn't have the punch really. The energy.
Have you guys done a show on like comic characters that were obviously based on live actors, like the visual representations that are all obviously based on live actors?
You mean like Nick Fury?
Who? Oh, was that Clint Eastwood, the original one?
No, Nick. There was the original Nick Fury. Then when
in the 70s.
And then when they did the new Nick Fury, they drew him as Samuel L. Jackson, and then Samuel L. Jackson played the part afterwards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, but who did the first guy look like? The first incarnation.
He was played by David Hasselhoff, but I don't know if he was drawn as David Hasselhoff.
I think he's wearing big red trunks.
So is David Hasselhoff.
Was he wearing big red trunks and was a hit in Germany?
Yeah.
The definitive interpretation of the character.
I don't know who Nick Fury was originally, like the original Nick Fury. I don't know who he was based. Probably a Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
He looks that way.
He had those grey.
Wasn't Judge Dredd based on Dirty Harry?
Yes.
The character, but not like the appearance. Yeah.
Not the appearance, no.
But
well, some artists draw the chin as
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, and they put the little mole there.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I know Sam Slade, he was supposed to be like Clint Eastwood, wasn't he? Robo Hunter.
I think Eastwood's responsible for a lot of those sorts of characters. Like, Snake Plissken's Clint Eastwood, right?
Yes. And Jack Burton is John Wayne.
Right.
That's basically Kurt Russell's take on the two great Western icons.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember Carlos Esquerra did the stainless steel rat in the 1980s? And he was based, his Fizzog was based on what's his name? James Coburn.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember James Coburn?
No.
Aria, you're the youngest one here, surely.
So,
whippersnapper, do you remember James Coburn?
No.
It's spelled Cockburn, but is it?
It's spelled what?
Yeah. I think it's spelled Cockburn, but it's pronounced Coburn.
The Boys as well. There's a character based on Simon Pegg in that.
Is it really?
So the main character, you know about The Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, the main character in The Boys, which is in the comic, which is Wee Huey, is drawn as Simon Pegg. And then when they did the series, Simon Pegg played his dad for an episode.
Nice.
Yeah, they wanted to do a film and have Simon Pegg play the character. He was deemed too old when they made the series.
Nice. There's a German film producer. I've forgotten his first name. Fabian Gasmier, and a German paper described him as the German Simon Pegg. Because when I first met him, like on a as an extra, and I was like, "Dude, you look like Simon Pegg," and he says, "Yeah, a German paper described me as a German Simon Pegg." I'm like, "Oh well, I'm glad I wasn't wrong."
Simon Pegg kind of looks like a German Simon Pegg.
He does look like a German Simon Pegg, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He has his
very,
moments.
very blonde.
Yeah. He's always eating sausages.
And cornettos.
That's what they do. What?
Cornettos. That's Italian.
Yeah, but the films were the Cornetto trilogy, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, well we've covered that. Yeah, I was trying to explain to Americans what cornettos are.
Too late.
Alan Moore, Swamp Thing. What? Yet another example of.
But what were we talking about?
Of my favorite formula: take an established old character, reinvent who he is and what it means, and make it more dark and gritty and real, but also not. So next week we'll do Lobo, the Simon Pegg. I almost said the Simon Pegg drama. The Simon Bisley drawn book, Tales of a Pastiche. Most likely we'll do that next week. You can catch Rokon. Watch out, everybody, because Max doesn't have COVID anymore. Okay. He fucking finished the semester, all the shit. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, how much I'm not, but the man has time. He said so himself, and he's pounding out them pages. So if you still want to rob us and get the book at an unfairly low price, you still have time, but you're running out because Max is about to bang out these pages. And then then we're gonna raise the price. So then once all your friends have it, and you're like, oh, I want my copy, I need to get my copy, it's gonna cost you twice as much, bitch. So that's up to you. What you want to do about it.
And that's our sales pitch.
Where would you go to get that book? Where do you have to go to? Indiegogo.
Rokon. Yeah, I'll put the fucking link right here. Aria, tell us about Tailless.
Yeah, you should go to Indiegogo and search for Tailless. That's tail-less. It's the #1 crowdfunded comic book in South Wales, actually in all of Wales. So go and check it out. If you like things like Animal Man, if you like The Sensational She-Hulk, books like that, you're going to really enjoy Tailless. It's a collection of 7 short mini comics. All these ideas I've got floating around in my head. And you should check it out because the book is way over 100 pages long now. And you're going to, get it for a good price on Indiegogo.
Right,
so go check it out.
Ari is a fucking amazing artist. And he's just getting better all the time as well. It's impressive.
Thank you very much.
You got a book called Rattle and Roll?
I certainly do. Once described by a certain Mr. Aria Blackness as the second best book of 2020 behind Mary Boys.
And Mary Boys is like a great book, dude. Like,
I'll take that.
Here's the thing. In the same video, I said Mary Boys is like the gold standard, and
those were his words.
Rattle and Roll was right there.
That's what he said.
Hey, I'll take the praise, But Rattle and Roll 1 is available from Blurb in the UK, from KDP around the globe. So I actually, before I even met all of the crowdfunding guys here, I just brought this out on my own bat, put it up on Amazon. And so, yeah, it's available around the... I actually ordered this for a buddy of mine in Australia. It got to his house 2 days after ordering it. That's how quick it is. Yes, and I'm working on Rattle and Roll 2, and I have been doing for an embarrassingly long amount of time.
Oh, you're in good company, mate.
Mind you, recently I've had, we're still, the bargain bin. We're still out on the bargain bin every Monday, and we're bringing out Twisted. Hang on a sec, I got to do this. Twisted Fairy Tales, which is big package, which is still in demand. So if any of the watchers for Saturday morning cartoons haven't got their copy of Rattle and Roll and Twisted Fairy Tales, it's still possible to get them. But I also had a strip published in Wizard, written with a backward E. From Eli Schwab, one of the cartoonistic kayfabers, and that's been out recently, and that's a huge book, 420 pages. It is excellent. So I can heartily recommend that with my 4-page my contribution is the word. Yes.
Big Buddha. Yes. You working on anything, Buddha?
Just check out my channel as always. Big Buddha is watching. Look for the blue ident that looks a bit like me, and that's basically it. I'm constantly, like everyone, I think, constantly working on new stuff, just at a snail's pace. But I should have some new content up over the next fortnight. Fingers crossed. And you can also follow me as well on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't stop watching, because the outro video is like the coolest part. That's why you always got to stay to the end of the fucking show.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
As we've just seen, drugs make your problems go away. So make it the best day possible. Remember, it's drugs that counts. Take one and take a chance.
Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.